Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about a brand new web browser. But, this isn't just a story about tech specs and privacy settings. No, it's a story that connects modern code to ancient language and Silicon Valley-style innovation to the really rich cultural history of southern India. Okay, let's start with a problem I think we all know pretty well. You know that feeling when you go online and you just know you're being tracked, right? Your data is being collected, sorted, and sold. The internet today, it can feel less like a public square and more like a giant surveillance minefield. And that really is the core conflict, isn't it? On one hand, you've got your typical browsers that track your every move. But on the other, there's this new challenger called Ulaa, and it's built on a really simple but kind of radical idea. Your privacy shouldn't be the price of admission for using the internet, period. All right, so let's dig into this challenger a little bit. Ulaa isn't positioning itself as just another option on the market. Nope. It's a direct response to that whole surveillance problem we were just talking about. So how's it do that? Well, Ulaa is built from the ground up with privacy in mind. It blocks trackers, which is pretty standard, but it also prohibits something called DNS prefetching. That's basically when your browser tries to guess where you're going next and preload stuff, which can sometimes leak your data. And get this, it even auto-resets your browser ID every single day. That makes it way harder for advertisers to build a profile on you. So you might be asking, who's actually behind this thing? And this is where the story takes a really fascinating turn. Because Ulaa doesn't come from some small, scrappy startup. It's from a major player, but one from a totally different corner of the tech world. It comes from Zoho Corporation. Now, if you haven't heard of them, they're a huge Indian tech company based in Chennai. This is a pretty big deal because they're known for enterprise software, and now they're jumping right into the direct-to-consumer browser space. And we're not just talking about another product launch here. Ulaa actually just won a national competition. It was sponsored by India's Ministry of Electronics, and the whole point was to create a world-class browser built right there in India, but for a global audience. Pretty cool, right? But, a product like this, it doesn't just appear out of nowhere. To really get what this browser is all about, even its name, we need to take a little detour, an unexpected journey into history and language. Okay, so the name Ulaa, it literally means journey in the Tamil language. And that idea of a journey, well, it takes us right into the heart of southern India, a place that's home to some of the world's oldest and most amazing languages. Let's take one of those languages, for example, Telugu. It's a designated classical language in India, and it really embodies the region's super deep history of communication. It's spoken right next door to where Zoho is headquartered, and for centuries, it's been this amazing vehicle for culture and innovation. And we're not talking about some obscure language here. It's spoken by about 96 million people. Just to put that in perspective, that makes it the most widely spoken Dravidian language and the 14th most spoken native language in the entire world. That's a huge number of people. And the history of this language is just incredible. Its roots stretch back thousands of years. You can see right here how it's evolved over time, from its earliest forms way back before the Common Era, through a golden age of literature, all the way to the vibrant language people speak today. Here's a fun fact for you. Back in the 15th century, a Venetian explorer, this guy Niccolo de Conti, he called it the Italian of the East. And why? Well, he noticed that, just like in Italian, words in Telugu tend to end with vowels. It gives the language this beautiful, natural musicality. Okay, so ancient languages, Italian of the East, how does this all connect back to a piece of software? Well, let's look at how Ulaa is actually designed. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of tool. Not at all. It's built to adapt to all the different hats we wear in our digital lives. See, Ulaa isn't just one browser. It actually has 5 different modes, and each one is designed for a specific kind of journey online. See where they're going with that? It lets you split up your digital life in a way most browsers just don't. First up, you've got personal mode. This is your go-to for everyday browsing. It's got all the standard privacy stuff turned on to keep your personal life, well, personal. Then there's work mode. This one is pretty clever. It actually blocks distracting websites so you can stay focused on what you're supposed to be doing. It's all about keeping you productive during the workday. For all the tech folks out there, there's developer mode. It comes preloaded with tools and extensions made just for web developers and testers. It really helps streamline their workflow right from the start. And this one is huge for parents. Kids Mode. It creates a password-protected, family-friendly space for children to learn and explore online, without all the ads and trackers. A really safe online sandbox. And finally, there's something called Open Season Mode. Look, sometimes you run into a website that just breaks when you have strict ad blockers on. For those cases, this mode lets you temporarily turn them off, so you can get what you need without having to switch browsers. All right, so what does an ancient language really have to do with a modern browser? This is where the whole story comes together, and it becomes so much more than just a review of a new piece of tech. When you put them side by side like this, the connection just clicks. I mean, think about it. They're both tools for communication, and both come from the same cultural region. They both represent a super long history of innovation, one in literature and expression, the other in technology and privacy. One has this 1,000-year-old literary tradition, the other has a privacy-first, multi-mode design. So, at the end of the day, Ulaa is so much more than just a piece of software. You can really see it as a modern expression of a culture that has this long history of building really sophisticated, purposeful tools for communication. And that leaves us with a final, pretty big question to think about. As technology gets more and more globally diverse, maybe the most powerful innovations, maybe they won't just be about solving a technical problem. Maybe they'll be the ones that draw their real strength from a deep connection to a place, a history, and a unique cultural identity.